Uh, I think that if we weren't together, I would have died from lack of vegetables 2 years ago. She's definitely the better cook. There's no question about that. Dark chocolate with raspberries from Fred Meyer. Smart food popcorn, family size. That's a must. My impression on Kennedy was I was trying to be like this tough guy attitude. I at first scared her, but it was just because I was like, whoa, who's this cute girl that started hanging around my friends? She told me that I seemed really stuck up and prideful. I think that's one of the reasons he gave me Kennedy to help me learn humility and I don't know, ground me in some realism and help me understand myself a little bit more. So I started like reorienting my entire day, my whole week, so that I could hang out with her more. And I was probably a really bad friend in those initial months because I pretty much stopped seeing them so I could just hang out with her. Seeing her obedience to God, when He's calling her to something, even when she doesn't like it, um, I don't know, that's such a huge thing to me. I remember about a year or so ago, we were talking about where life would lead us next and where we would be going and what that might look like for us. And she said the line that I don't really care where it is. I'm just willing to follow you wherever you lead. To hear that as a man, to hear that the woman that you want to marry is willing to follow you as the leader, just showed me so much love and respect in that moment, and made me feel cared for, and that she respected my ability to hear from God, my ability to make the right decision. So yeah, I think just her obedience to where she feels called is my favorite thing about her. Um, I thought about this a little bit last night as I was reading through the questions, and it's kind of nerdy, but I thought of Professor X from the X-Men. So I was thinking about like what kind of qualities does she have that's almost superhuman. Her level of empathy is almost like she can read minds. At least mine. A lot of the time when I'm having a bad day or something's just on my mind, she's able to draw that out of me. She's able to, even if she doesn't understand exactly what is happening, she knows that something is wrong, even when I feel like I'm hiding it well or covering it up. She just seems to have this ability to know when something is off, and I certainly can't do that. So I think it's borderline superhuman. So I chose kind of Professor X for that reason, and then thought about again how nerdy this is, but in the X-Men series, Professor X draws all these people who are considered outcasts in their society together and shows them how they can use their differences and bands them together for a positive force. And Kennedy has always had a soft spot for the people who are deemed outcasts, but shows them a level of love and again empathy that brings out the best in them, that shows them the love of God and points them in a new direction. So yeah, Professor X is who Kennedy would be if she was a superhero. Going back to before we were even officially dating, we would go on these stargazing trips late at night until like 2 a.m. Can't even imagine that now. I'm an old man. We would just talk and learn more about each other, and we'd go up to the little lookout over at Lions Rock and just lay out a blanket. Learning more about her and getting closer to her during those weeks, that's up there for sure. And then just the night of the proposal, when I had done a ton of planning and trying to tie certain things together to to come together to create this night where she felt cared for and honored and loved. Um, and then finally having that come to fruition, and seeing the look on her face when I finally was able to get down on a knee and ask her to marry me. I think the word depth, for two reasons. One is, as I get to know her more and more, I just learn more about her, more about who she is, more about where she wants to go in life and her background and the way she ticks. And so, yeah, it's just cool to like be in a partnership with someone. And I mean, you know, we're only 2.5 years into this thing, but just to still be learning more and more about somebody makes me excited for marriage, to be learning a whole new human for the rest of your life. I think that's incredible. And so having the opportunity to do that and just explore the depth of her character excites me. But then she also pushes me to be a better person and explore myself deeper, explore my emotions more. And so whether she is digging something out of me that I didn't know was there, or pushing me to be more well-rounded in my interests or my focus or what I'm learning, or yeah, she makes me a better person because I'm understanding myself more. She's exposing me to more things. So yeah, depth, I think, is a great word for her. Kind of relates back to the last question about just knowing someone more. I remember I was talking with a buddy of mine, Gabe, who got married recently, and I was asking him what his favorite thing about marriage was, and he said just having a life teammate has been so cool for him to go through the day-to-day and have Chloe at his side. He said he didn't really expect it to be so impactful for him. Because as guys, you know, a lot of the time we try and emotionally put up walls and be independent and be self-sufficient. But he was telling me, like, man, that is seriously one of the best feelings, to know that you have someone who has your back, just in life in general. Back in Pullman, we had a baptism service, and there was a guy who was probably in his 70s. He was getting baptized. He had never married, had never had a serious relationship that lasted more than a few years, and so he was just sharing about how hard that's been in his own life, and it made me think about how blessed I am to have somebody who is committing to spend the rest of her life with me. I'm committing to spend the rest of my life with her, and yeah, just to have that depth of connection with another person, I think is going to be so rewarding and rich and fulfilling throughout the years. Even in the hard times, even when we don't like each other and we're snippy with each other and we're having bad days or bad months, to know that there's someone who's committed to loving you, and to know that there's someone that you have committed to loving in the same way that Jesus has committed to loving us, even when we're having bad lives that don't get better, yet he still commits to loving us. Having a tangible example of that in my life, I'm so excited for that. So.